Hey, so I thought it might be helpful to have kind of like a little stability loop for you to go through. And if you're feeling like your pain is super irritable right now, I would, you can give this a try because sometimes it does help, but you can also get to the point where your muscles are just like in spasm and there's not much you can do except for just rest and do some heat. Try to take some deep breaths and just like let your body's inflammatory process do its thing. But maybe if not tonight, tomorrow after having some rest and some sleep, you might feel up to doing something a little more like just stability related. So that's what this is. And I thought it might be nice to just like follow along. So I'm gonna have you start with some single leg bridges. So if you've got like a chair, you can come down and then prop your heels up. If this is painful, you can also do this instead of lifting your hips like I'm gonna do. You can also just do like a gentle pull through the hamstring, kind of like you do in your breathing exercises, except for in this case, we are really looking for like the work of the hamstring itself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to take my breath in, and then as I breathe out, open mouth, right, like deep out breath. I'm just curling up and then coming back down. I'm going to do 10 of those on each side. So once again, keep breathing in and then out, curling up on each side. Think about not letting your neck do the work. And even using hands on your TA to make sure your abs are firing. There should be the sensation of like kind of peeling your hips up off the floor, which is going to be a little more hamstringy rather than just glutey, which is like pushing through the box. So I'm going to do the left side. Right now, these are in my warm-up, like I do them with a stability ball, like my foot on a stability ball, which is definitely a lot tougher, and that's actually one of the ways that I really know that this side is far less stable and still weak. Because on my right, I never have to readjust the ball, and on my left, I'm always like readjusting. So I'm not saying you have to do that, I'm just saying if you're noticing that on one side, you're a little bit less able to feel the hamstring or a little bit more wobbly, in some ways it's a good thing because that's like that lack of stability that we're looking to sort of wake up again. If you feel like you're getting a little bit of like prying sensation, like almost like at the area of your side of pain, you're sort of mobilizing it a little bit. Not all pain is pain that we don't want. I'm not telling you that you should work through it, but just like be gentle with that. Stand up if you're not sure in between and just like check if things are horribly worse. If they're not any worse, then it's a really good chance that like whatever you're doing is probably not gonna make it worse overall. So that's 10 on each side. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a air plank, ideally with your feet against the wall, which just allows you to really feel any like pelvic wobbliness, keeping the head in line with the rest of your torso. You're going to start with hands right underneath your hips, and then from here take a breath in, breathe out that deep breath, and allow yourself to lift. So we can do 10 like this, but I also, for you, I think you'll get a little bit more out of putting the block in between your knees and just giving that a gentle squeeze as you come up. You can also use a towel if you don't have a block handy. Foam roller works really well too. So again, it's just deep breath in and then breathe out. Not necessarily trying to round or extend, it's just trying to stay nice and neutral. Deep breath in. If you feel yourself trying to breathe with your upper traps, maybe just allowing yourself to be a little more open through the pecs here. So at this point, you've probably done about 10. So now we're going to stand. And for most people, the movement that is most irritating is like any kind of like direct hinging. In your video that you sent me, you had said like, well, this doesn't feel so bad, and that is a good thing. So we're gonna take advantage of that. Lunges usually make it a little bit easier to move into ranges that otherwise are a little squirrely. If this feels scary or just like weird, you can do them next to a wall or like holding onto a broomstick or something, just so you feel like you have an extra layer of stability at the start. But if they feel wobbly, that's pretty typical. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start in the position you're gonna end. If you feel like you can't lift your leg, it's okay, but this is sort of the motion, okay? You're reaching forward with that opposite side. I wanna keep my torso relatively dead set ahead for this one, so just no twisting because we don't need to do that right now. So basically, this is my ending position. My bottom position is gonna be the opposite. So I'm just coming down. If you can lift your leg, but don't worry about it if you can't. Just kind of right here is fine. And then here to here, okay? And we're doing 10 per side. If it feels, again, like fearful, the best thing you can do as you move into a range you're just like not sure about is take a breath in, because that's gonna allow your pelvic floor to relax, right? So instead of being like clenched up, which honestly makes all that spasm stuff way worse, you want to breathe in as you come down. So breathing in as I come down. Maybe like intentionally dropping your butthole a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna do 10 on one side, and then same thing on the other side. Your ending position is here, or here, okay? So come down. Once again, when you're here, maybe just double checking, seeing if you are holding a little bit of tension. You know, I'm not gonna force you to relax, tell you to relax, but just if you can, just do a little bit of exploring in this position. You can let go a little bit before exhaling, like fogging a glass before you come up. So like I said, at the end of all of this, most people who have instability related back pain, right, are gonna feel just a little bit better. And if you don't, you're probably at the stage of injury where you're just a little bit too inflamed. And that's like, you know, if your kid just got a scrape and then they're running around screaming about it, we know that that's, you know, they're not like a full laceration on their leg or something, but it's very natural and normal for you to have an inflammation response, a fear response, a heightened nervous system response, and especially if you're someone who has been in pain before, that is going to be your MO. You're much, much more likely to experience an elevated amount of inflammatory everything after having your little scrape, or your level of stress, wherever it is that you're at right now. So I would just say, If any of this does not feel better, you don't have to do it. You should stop. You should just rest, and that's okay too. But this is a nice, like, gentle little loop that you can go through a couple times that hopefully, if your body is ready, right, will start to help you feel better. So let me know how it goes.